the restaurant. And then now that you have approved phase 3, these offices will be freed up for dressing rooms. That even takes the mag room out. That means anything on that side belongs to the residents during normal operating hours. And anything for outside events is restricted to the restaurant patio.
The recommendation that the committee made was to have option 2, and we didn't deal with specific restrictions as to operational issues. So the board would just be accepting what our recommendation was, and then the board will write the policy, and then you can change whatever restriction.
Just one quick comment. I think that we've got to be careful here, just to use a footballing analogy when we're talking about football. It seems to me that since the committee on which I serve made its decision and forwarded a recommendation that somebody move the goalposts, we've got to be a little careful that this doesn't keep going on. I'm not expressing a comment either way on whether the bar should or should not be open for specific events. I'm merely saying that the board needs to consider the policy and be aware when you consider that policy that the goalposts may shift. Thank you.
Further resident comments?
I would just like to say also, I was under the impression.
Speak up a little louder. Identify yourself, please.
Thank you. I'm Carla Becker, and I'm from Heritage Pines.
I don't believe.
Yeah. When we were in the committee and we did enjoy Bill's presentation, I was under the impression that we were talking in terms of, and I can't remember specifically how Bill phrased it, he was talking about putting something up in the area that comes into the dining room, and that in fact would help when we did have events in here, and that we wouldn't have to close the bar. Right. And that meant that we wouldn't have to close the bar to residents. Right. And in addition, any of the country clubs that my parents belonged to, and they were very large and went from large to small, we had lots of outings and events, and when those events occurred, the golfers and the members were always allowed into the bar. That's all.
Thank you.
Can I just want to make one quick clarification point? We may be talking 0 times a year. We may be talking 1 time a year. We may be talking 2 times a year. That's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about once a month, once every 2 months. Getting and Mark can hear me, he's sitting in the back. Getting a wedding for 200 or 250 people is something that just hasn't happened lately. All I'm saying is, I like a caveat that if we get an event for 250 people, then we have the option to accept it and close the bar for 1, maybe 2 days, maybe 3 days in the entire year for the association is going to profit from this extensively.
Okay. Identify yourself, please.
My name is Kathy Hendrickson, and I'm from Pinecrest Village. I was also one of the members of the committee, and I've been involved in the catering business for over 20 years as a florist up in New York. I'm going to tell you right now, 250 even in New York at times was not a big wedding for the average family. So we're not looking at a major issue, but it is an issue that we didn't think of when we were in the committee. And I think when you go back to make policy, that we're looking at a 1-hour closure of the bar, possibly a few handfuls times in a year, that if there is an issue coming up where the residents are in there enjoying it, that maybe one of the other rooms could be set up as a temporary bar situation where they can continue to watch the football game or a sporting event or hang out with the group of golfers that are coming in. And that might help to alleviate that 1-hour period of time for the additional revenue that we'll be looking at. So I think that might be something you could take up for policy.
Thank you. Okay, Lynn.
Might as well
put my 2 cents in. Lene Gotti, Winding Way. I know that it's just a few times possibly over the years, and I understand, and I think that's a good point. But why couldn't it be open to the residents as well as to the wedding parties? Residents still have to pay for their drinks, and the bartender would know. Or maybe divide the bar in half so that the residents are on one side and the overflow goes into the other side. But anyway, why the residents couldn't use the bar also? We're not talking about that many residents.
Yeah, just between you and me, I can't see a bunch of people in tuxedos and wedding dresses standing there and 5 guys in shorts.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Linda.
Yeah.
Any further resident comment? Okay. Any further board comment or question? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Again, thank you to the committee. Great job. Thank you. We have a motion to adjourn. All in favor?